What are some harmless ways to fuck with people? When you shake someone's hand, move yours left to right. As they do the traditional up and down, a hilarious circle ensues. I put a tiny piece of masking tape over my co-worker's mouse laser on April Fool's Day one year, wrote April Fools on it. He troubleshot every single thing except examining the mouse. He eventually called IT, who simply turned the mouse over and pointed it out to him. When having a conversation during a meal, specifically only ask questions to people that are chewing. ETA, I was never a server, but had this taught to me by a dear friend of mine years ago when we used to eat in a public cafeteria and mess with people we just met. Ask, what was your, or your wife's /husband's /sister's etc. name again? After they answer, I shake my head and say, no, that's not it. Whenever I visit my extended family across the country, I bring a bag full of random remotes that I don't use anymore. Just random remotes that go to old DVRs or anything really. Just hide them around their house, they only recently caught on. If I know someone is walking a little ways behind me and I turn a corner with nobody else around, I like to run 10 to 20 steps to widen the gap and then laugh to myself, thinking that the person behind me will be confused. I doubt anyone ever notices, but I get a kick out of it every time. I know someone who always takes an item to a party and leaves it somewhere in the house, i.e. a trinket /tchotchke. After giving a compliment, say no offense and watch them struggle to find the non-existent insult. My mother-in-law is meticulous about her home decor. One day, we come over and she out of the blue asks if we have been flipping one of her decorations on its side every time we visited. We were puzzled until our 6-year-old started cracking up. The little monster had been switching it for months. Everyone got a good laugh out of it. When driving, I like to wave at random people as if I knew them. Hilarious to see instant confusion on their faces. My friend was logged into his Twitter on my tablet, so I kept changing his profile picture to a banana. He thought someone hacked him and tweeted about it. I replied to the tweet using his profile. It got so bad he was arguing with himself on Twitter. When you're talking to someone, just keep handing them random items. They'll just keep taking them without realizing it. When I was a corrections officer, we had a guy who worked with us who was kind of a dick to everyone, and he was computer illiterate. We took a screenshot of his desktop and moved all of his icons off of it so it looked legit, but nothing worked. It took him an hour before he finally called IT and they figured it out pretty quickly. He wouldn't talk to any of us for about a week. Whenever you're speaking to somebody who is dominating the conversation, focus on their chin or ear. Look slightly concerned. Every so often flick back to their eyes, but then always make your way back to the one thing. Watch them get increasingly more uncomfortable, then eventually just leave. The movie theater in my town is usually mostly empty. There's been a couple of times when I've come in to get seated and there's literally only one other person in my auditorium. There's an evil part of me that wants to just go sit right next to them. Not illegal, but it should be. I saw someone on Facebook comment on a picture that the three of you look great. There were 4 people in the picture. Buy a set of voice-activated or motion-activated stickers from Amazon, and the possibilities are endless. I'm a huge fan of just handing somebody something without any explanation and walking away. Look at their forehead, ear, or chin during the entire conversation. Call in sick to a place you don't work. At the deli, ask for the most human-tasting meat they have. Go to the grocery store and ask for gummer. You know, it's kind of red, and you put it on mayo sandwiches. Ask if they like your perfume and get them to smell your neck, wrist, ankle, or other body part. Don't actually be wearing any perfume. Looking at a non-reflective surface and doing stuff like fixing your hair and checking if there's something in your teeth. When cold called, make your only response what, in varying tones. Once got to almost 5 minutes with an Indian guy from some insurance scam call center before being told to F***ck off. Phone has been pretty silent since then. Alternate approach, say okay, hold on a sec, lay the receiver down and see how long they are prepared to wait on the chance you're coming back. Good times. Keep correcting them on the pronunciation of your name, even when they are saying it correctly every time. If you are at a stoplight with your window down, Gesture to the car next to you to roll down their window. If they roll their window down, roll yours up and just carry on. It works best if you are standing, but use your judgment, gradually lower the volume of your voice. Others will match your volume and they tend to move closer. Wait for your moment and just start speaking in a normal or slightly louder than normal voice. Begin Christmas dinner by serving one's plate at the table and passing the dish to the right. Pass the next dish to the left. Continue alternating. Everybody is delighted because they don't have to wait, except for one person, the one sitting opposite you, who juggles an onslaught of bowls and platters from both directions. Amuse yourself watching this person's frustration. I love mistakenly pronouncing words mid-sentence only to pronounce them correctly moments later. When they ask what your favorite song or band is, tell them you don't like music. When they ask why, say because there are no pictures like movies and TV shows. My neighbor got an expensive new camera for his front door. Randomly, for the last several months, I have covered myself in a black cloak, including face, crawled up into camera view, and left a random harmless object. A carrot, spool of thread, 3 ink pens with the caps mixed up, dumb meaningless things. On camera, a dark shape appears and disappears, leaving a random object behind. It is driving his silly ass crazy. One time I called my friend who had just dropped me off on my cell phone and told her that I had forgotten my cell phone in her car. She hung up, turned around and called me on my cell phone when she pulled in the driveway. I came out while talking on the phone with her, and when she saw the grin on my face it all clicked. I honestly didn't even think it would work, but I'm really glad it did. One thing I do is when someone asks directions, I say something like, if you take a left out of the parking lot, and go down to the light, then turn right, you'll be going the wrong direction. It's actually, give correct directions. Heard a story about a guy who hid pennies, use your equivalent smallest coin, throughout all his roommates' stuff. This sounds minor, until you realize he spent $37 on this, 3,700 coins. Top spots. In shoe linings. Sewn into clothes. Inside bottle caps. Inside a bar of soap, cut it in half, insert coin, mush back together with water. That's my favorite, would take months to find as you use the bar of soap. When someone asks for the time. Excuse me, do you know what time it is? Yes. Yes, what? Yes, sir. I have a secondary remote that my kids don't know about. Sometimes I'll stand out of sight and turn up the volume or hit back when they select something to watch. It's pretty funny. Sometimes when you do like online quizzes, they'll ask for an email to send the results to. I like to put random people that I know instead.